We would now like to move on to our technical session 2, and we are taking a bit of time for the changeover. Technical session 2 is on importance of Indo-Bangladesh Protocol, route to coastal shipping and inland water transport. May I request the session moderator, Mr. Taposh Banerjee, Managing Director, Everett India Private Limited, to be on the dais and invite the esteemed panelists of this session. Mr. Banerjee has been in the shipping and logistics sector for last 35 years, and he is currently the CMD of Everett India Private Limited, and is also a very senior member of the Bengal Chambers Shipping and Logistics Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Banerjee, and over to you.
May I request Mr. Mehra to come and join here? And Mr. Dhawan, Amit Dhawan. So we welcome all of you to the second technical session of importance of Indo-Bangladesh Protocol route to coastal shipping and inland water transport. We know that India is very well connected with Bangladesh, utilizing the waterways as well as sea mode of transportation, apart from the land route and airways. And the volume of trade between India and Bangladesh is increasing at a rapid scale. In the year 2021, 21-22, it was 10.8 billion US dollar, and it has gone up to 18.2 billion dollar in the year, in the year 2021. Now, Government of India has entered into an agreement on 15th of June 2015 to utilize the coastal shipping. Now, we will be discussing this coastal shipping between India and Bangladesh and inland water transport. And we have with us Mr. Mehra, who needs no introduction, Deputy Chairman of QPT, Shama Prasad Mukherjee Port Trust. And may I request Mr. Mehra to give his presentation. One more thing, Mr. Jewel from Bangladesh will also join virtually in a short while, because then we have got two operators, one from India, Mr. Dhawan representing Sea Darcel, and Mr. Jewel from Bangladesh. Now over to Mr. Mehra.
Good afternoon. This is one of the very important subject that has been chosen by this annual shipping and logistic conclave. The importance of Indo-Bangladesh Protocol route to coastal shipping and inland water transport. Before I start my presentation, I want to make certain observations. Many a times I have seen that in different seminars and workshops, the potentials of this Indo-Bangladesh Protocol route and inland waterway route has been talked about, but to what extent we are actually harnessing the potential is most important as on today. Whether we are harnessing the fullest potential or we are lagging behind, that is the most important part, which I also want to touch upon. Where do we stand at the moment? Okay. So this is the Indian coastline, about 7,500 plus kilometers, and they are spotted with ports, both major and non-major. We at the eastern side, sitting in the a river port, as a river port, both Calcutta and Haldia, we have got unique position because we are connecting sea, we are connecting river, both NW1, NW2, as well as the Indo-Bangladesh protocol route to connect to the Bangladesh as well as to the northeastern states of our country. So if we see the figures 2021 and 2022, you'll see that both coastal as well as Bangladesh traffic through our port, I'm talking about our port only, Samaprasad Mukherjee port, taken both Calcutta and Haldia taken together, has increased. Of course, in the current year, there is a little decrease in the coastal shipping, Bangladesh shipping, but the trend is good. It is increasing at a good pace. These are various commodities that is being moved. I'm just rapidly going through. This is coking coal, silica sand, met coke, iron ore, fly ash, including paraxylene from New Mangalore refinery. There are so many cargo that is being moved through coastal route within India. And now if we come to this inland waterway route starting from Varanasi to Pandu, you see I have spotted this kilometer wise. Varanasi to Patna, then to Haldia, then through Mongla, and then to Dhubri and Pandu. You will see this is a viable route, but only issue is that whether water at sufficient depth is available in this. But this is not a new question. This is being raised by these barge operator or these cargo movers. This is being talked about for years or decade together. Inland Waterway Authority, with the support of the World Bank, they have about 4,000 crore rupees for dredging the NW1. That project is still continuing in order to give 2.5 to 3 meter sustainable basis throughout the year draft available in the NW1. That project is still on, maybe at the last phase, and under this a new lock has already been constructed at Farakka. Those who are associated with that, this is already started functioning, and it will probably be dedicated very soon to the nation. So this has given another opportunity for movement of upland cargo, upland means through Bihar and UP from West Bengal, or this exim cargo through this route. We have got our one experience of sending steel cargo last year, February, almost this time. What we have seen that basically the steaming time from Haldia to Pandu, it is about 110, 120 hours. But what is happening, that because of no night navigation, ships are getting stuck up after dusk. Apart from draft and other issues. This is one example I have spotted, that this ship was flagged off on 16 to 22. Within 9 days it has gone to Hemnagar, to Bahadurabad. Thereafter, from Bahadurabad to Pandu it will take 15 days. Because there are the stretches, Sirajganj and above, where there is a shallow draft. And this was unpredicted. When this has been talked about with the IWAI, the answer is coming, this is a natural course, there is certain siltation and all. But for a shipping industry or the logistic, they will not, after a cargo started movement, in between, if there is draft restrictions or there is a draft fall, how the importance or how the confidence will be there for the movement. So these are very, very important things. That's why I'm telling not only the importance of the Indian waterways and Bangladesh tool, but whether this potential, whether we are harnessing or not. This is very, very serious thing, because these northeastern states can be good connectivity with these riverine roads. If we go back to say 30, 40, 50, 60 years back, there is one company called River Steam Navigation, which is the predecessor of CIWTC, Central Inland Water Transport Corporation. They used to send the cargo through this route before independence, through this route to Guwahati and other places. Of course, smaller sizes ships, maybe 200, 300 tonner, Today we are thinking of sending 2,500 tonner. But this route is there. And there are companies who are functioning, I mean private company, RSN company, River Stream Navigation is a private company. Thereafter, of course, government taken over through certain issues by CIWTC. So this is not that something new are being invented, but what we require to have that whatever nature has already given, this has been tested route, only thing we have to maintain the drafts. That was the most important part. So these are all visions and all these things. There are so many cargo, prospective cargo which can be moved through the steel cargo. Recently Tata Steel has moved about 1,000 metric ton of TMT bars from Haldia to Asuganj and from there road route to the Agartala. There are 1-2 experience we have done, but this time we have seen this is a seamless movement. There is hardly any issues encountered in the barge movement from Haldia to Asuganj and thereafter road movement. Of course, there are issues in the trucking sector at the Bangladesh and Tripura border and inside Tripura. I will come to it. Movement of naphtha also we have started last year from Haldia to Bangladesh for Aqua Refinery. There are 2 movements we have done. But suddenly we found that due to increase in the freight rate, this Bangladeshi counterpart is telling at the moment it is not getting viable. So that means the market is quite volatile. So regulators or those who are involved in this, we have to sit together and think and find out a sustainable solution. Because there is a requirement of 1 million ton of naphtha, which is a very good business for the Indian oil refinery at Haldia. This I have already stated that Tata Steel has already forwarded. This one movement, what we have found is a seamless movement. Before that, of course, lot of survey jointly with the Tata Steel we have done. Our people, including Tata Steel people, have gone to Asuganj and to Agartala and found out. And this was absolutely seamless movement had taken place. And Tata Steel people are quite enthusiastic. They are planning to move at least 2 movements per month of similar nature or little more in volume to Bangladesh, through Bangladesh to northeastern. But there are issues that has been found out at the trucking level. This border, this road border at Akhura, is 5 kilometers from the Agartala, is the international border between India and Bangladesh. What we have found that there are charges for the trucking is quite high at that position. So what we think that if there are certain insertions in the Anglo-Bangladesh Treaty for movement of Bangladesh registered trucks up to India, maybe certain distance, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 kilometer or 100 kilometer, whatever both the country will decide. At the moment, the trucks has to unload at the border to Indian registered trucks at the Tripura and then move inside. So you can understand the time loss and the charges also, cost. So if their registered truck can be moved within Bangladesh, within Indian part, or while any export cargo, maybe fruits and other thing which is very popular at the Tripura, this can come through the Indian registered trucks to Asuganj and then loaded. So these type of issues are to be addressed in order to harness the potential. As far as capacity augmentation at Haldia is concerned, this barge jetty, this is quite old jetty at Haldia, above oil jetty number 1. We have decided to convert it to a LPG handling jetty with the introduction of state-of-the-art firefighting facility which is presently undertaken. The purpose is that a lot of LPG demand is there in the Bangladesh to move LPG from Haldia to Bangladesh. This is one project we are working on it. After completion of our firefighting facility, we will dredge the area to have a conducive draft of sending at least 2,500 tonner LPG regularly through Bangladesh. This Balagarh project, you might have seen that many a times we are telling. Balagarh is an island about 65 kilometers upstream on the Ganges in the Hooghly district. This is an island, but the potential is that it is very close to Sahibganj and other places where we can directly move, especially the containerized cargo for Nepal and some bulk cargo to there. You know, Calcutta port, I'm talking about the KDS, is working 24 hours, whereas the road traffic is open for only 9 hours. Those who are associated, they know from 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the night up to 6 o'clock. Whereas the port is operation 24 hours. So you can understand the time loss, time means money loss. So this is one project we have taken it up, especially the upland movement of the containers. We can directly move from bigger container vessels through anchorage to smaller barges. It will not come to either Khidirpur dock or NS dock. Directly it will go to Balaghar, and from there one small bridge is there, another bridge is also under planning. So through that it will be connected and go to the either NH 34, that is North Bengal side, or to the Bihar and Sahibganj. So this is one project that we are actively considering, because it is a project where a lot of infrastructure has to be developed. It's a green field. At the moment, whatever you have seen, this IRR is not matching to put entire burden onto the private sector. So government and Calcutta Port Trust is thinking to make it a hybrid project. That is, basic infrastructure will be built by us through EPC mode, and mechanization and operation will be given to the private operators. So this model is now being framed, and very soon we will come with this policy, with this scheme, with the government's approval. So those who are associated with Calcutta Haldia, they know that we have started the lighterage operation of bigger ships, including Cape vessels, in a big way last 2 years. And this year we have want to add one more this floating crane, so that the capacity increases. And whatever we found, that this is a huge potential of harnessing the deeper drafted location at the anchorages. And through this anchorage, what I am talking about, even the container vessels can also be handled and send the barges to the Balaghar. That is why, and the last line I put the Balaghar also. This is our plan, maybe in the later future. But what we have, and another potential thing that we have seen, that Bangladesh bound coal, there are inquiries that Bangladesh bound coal can, whether it can be handled at our anchorages, because Bangladesh, many of the ports are shallow drafted port like us. So bigger vessel will come at the Sagar or Sandhead, which will carry the cargo for both India and Bangladesh. The Bangladesh bound cargo, they want that it should be loaded to the barges, Bangladeshi barges, it will move to the Bangladesh port. But only some customs issues are there. We are already in touch with the customs to have a SOP or PN issued, so that a single ship carrying both countries' cargo, how to divide that in the midstream, and how to calculate the Indian duties on the Indian cargo to sort out. So I am very hopeful. We are in constant touch with the Customs Authority, Calcutta Customs Authority. Very soon they will come up with a PN, so that this movement can also start maybe in 23-24. Regarding Balaghar project, that I have already stated, that it will avoid the city traffic congestion, because the city authority, those who have put this embargo, that 24-hour port but 9 hours only, because there are reasons for that. We are not blaming that, because they have to run the show at the city. So that is why this Balaghar project we have conceived. And we have also planned to have a tunnel below the Ganges, like the East-West Metro has already made a tunnel for metro movement from Howrah to Calcutta side. Similarly, we are also have planned to have a tunnel from this side, that means from either KPD or NSD side to other side, where both the places land belong to Calcutta Port Trust. But whether it is viable, what will be the cost? So we have already engaged one consultant. They have given some small inception report. Further report and discussions are going on, but we are hopeful. It may be a little costly to start with, but it will have an immense impact on the handling of the port and the dispersal of the cargo from to and from the port. The various issues that we have encountered in some of the movements from Haldia and Calcutta to Bangladesh and to northeast, I have just jotted down. That's why I have stated initially that potential is one word and harnessing potential is the other important word. Whatever we found that sufficient number of suitable low drafted flat bottom barges with low air draft is there, because after this new Padma bridge, if the air draft is more, there will be problem for these barges to cross that. So low drafted as well as low air draft barges, flat bottom barges will be required. But in the earlier session that we are talking about the financing of the shipping and all, but financing of the barges is a major issue. No barge operator are coming forward to invest in the barges because this is not being financed by the bank without any collaterals. This is already been discussed, there are many issues involved, but at the moment the issue at the site is that no barge operator or owner is coming forward to build the barges, knowing fully well that there is huge potential in this river for barge movement of suitable barges. So this is one area that we have to address either through policy or some subsidy scheme, whatever. These need to be there. I can give another example that with the increase of anchorage traffic under Kolkata Port Trust in Sandhead and Sagar, what we found that different barges at different seasons, right? Foul weather season and fair weather season, there are certain zones of inland water barges to move. That is zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 with the partially smooth water and smooth water regulations. So many of the barges we found that they are not being able to move beyond Sagar Island, and some of the barges not beyond Haldia, that is not south of the Haldia. So what is happening, this number of barges requirement is more and the barges have to be compliant with seagoing. This is one aspect. There also whatever I found that for little modifications also the existing barge owners are not getting financed, not getting the finance from the bank. So this is very, very important issue. That's why you will see that many of the barge owners, they are not getting business for the entire year, though the cargo is there. So unless this is being sorted out through good mechanism of financing, people will not come forward to invest on that. Whereas there is a requirement of huge barges. And another important aspect is that movement of the small barges through Brahmaputra river during the monsoon. From say June, or latter part of the June, basically July, August, September, it is very difficult for movement of the barges, the kind of barges presently moving through Indo-Bangladesh route and then Brahmaputra because of the upland current that Brahmaputra had. So then you can find that 3 to 4 months in a year, there will be no business for those barges. Naturally, their charges will be more. How to counter it with that? That is another important issue that has been come up while we are talking to various people in this sector. So some of the points I have jotted down, that minimum 2.5 meter draft has to be ensured by the IWAI in the inland waterways. And of course, in this connection, I can tell that Bangladesh Inland Water Authority, they are regularly dredging their part of the river in the protocol route, and there is not much of problem faced by the barge operators while negotiating that part of the protocol route. So it is that Indian Waterway Authority, they have to complete this Ganges and then NW1, NW2, this dredging project under this World Bank loan very quickly and give assured draft. What they mention is the least available draft. If you see their website, they are telling LAD, least available draft. But for the shipping community, those who are in the international shipping, they want to know what is the minimum draft available. Least available draft at what places they have measured and where they have noted. So this is another shortfall in there. I am not here to make any observation or ill comment for IWAI, but these are the issues that has come up. And night navigation, what I am already taking this, a barge which is taking 26 to 27 days to go to Pandu, but if night navigation is there, it can come down to 12 days. 7, 8 hours to maximum 10 hours they can move steam, thereafter they will stop during night. So you can understand the cost of, freight cost is almost double. And width of the channel, it minimum 30 meters that is required. The fuel efficient at RPM of 1400 as per OEM. This is one important aspect. Those who are technical person, they will understand more, because many of the barges could not function at this RPM and their diesel cost is more. Set up cost effective cargo handling facilities at the points at Dibrugarh and Pandu. Dibrugarh, of course, I can tell you that there is small jetty that has government has already taken action and work has started there to make a good jetty. So government is very serious as far as Assam government as well as Ministry of Shipping for making these jetties conducive for handling at least 1200, 1500 to 1000 tonner barges. Customs procedures to be simplified to prevent delays, because 2 days what we have time at Hemnagar as well as at Bahadurabad, it is requiring for any barges movement to northeast from this part. IWA may consider creating an SOR for, this is one important aspect, since barge owners or industries are not coming up for making the barges because of the financing issues. IWI can make barges and give one charter. At the moment, their procedure is that if there is requirement of barges, people can consult them, thereafter they issue tenders for that. But business will not wait for the tenders to come. So, like any other places, there should be a schedule of charges on which the barges can be let out. So, these are one aspect we have flagged with the IWI in order to have that better utilization of the inland waterways. Another thing that is being talked about, many of the things know that India government is considering business, EXIM business with 35 countries with rupee term, not in the dollar term. So this will going to give a major boost, especially the Bangladesh, because whatever we have seen, this Indian rupee and Bangladesh is more or less stable variations, whereas if it is through the dollar, this will be difficult, especially this time when you know there are a lot of LC related problems, those who are having business with Nepal and Bangladesh. That is why this year this business has come down quite a bit. So this is one thing, that may looks like a wild idea, but when countries are in close cooperation, why can't we do that? Why will require a third party denomination of finances to have a business? Why can't we do it through our own currencies? Whatever, and another one important aspect that has been come out during discussions with the Bangladeshi counterpart, that we all know that Bangladesh is the garment hub of all over the world. Even they are sending the garment to India, which is being transshipped at Colombo. Can you think over it? So many of the people may not know. So Bangladesh container which is destined for India, it is going to Colombo, transshipped and coming through maybe Vizag or maybe Haldia or Calcutta. So there are these type of issues that we have to sort out between the two countries at appropriate level. So this is all from my side. I try to highlight not only the importance, but there are issues that has to be sorted out by the government departments as well as IWAI and as well as on the Bangladeshi part. So if these are being sorted out, I am very hopeful. This is a very good business. I have told in the morning that this part of these 3-4 countries taken together, that means Indian eastern part of the India, then northeast, Bangladesh and Myanmar, it is having a population of 80 million. So you can think that what is the potential and the market is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mehra, for your thoughtful presentation. Now, may I request Mr. Amit Dhawan, Senior General Manager of CJ Darsal Logistics, to give his presentation. Mr. Dhawan is involved in liner shipping, ports, transportation, through road, rail, sea. Previously worked with organizations like Maersk, Damco, DP World, Krishnapatnam Port, etc. He specializes in formulating organization business plan, strategic alliances, growth targets, and strategies. Currently with CJ Darcy Logistics as Senior General Manager and involved in 2 business verticals, shipping and renewable energy. And as all of us know that we have India government and Bangladesh government has a SOP for transportation of cargo using sea route, and CJ Darcy is one of the pioneer in movement of containerized cargo from east coast of India, mainly from Chennai and Calcutta to Chittagong, and they also serve in inland waterways utilizing in the Bangladesh protocol route. Now over to Mr. Dhawan for his presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. Respected dignitaries and BCCI, I'm thankful for having me here. So I am going to speak about the CJ Darcy Logistics, my organization's role and presence in the Indo-Bangladesh trade and utilization of the coastal service. So I'll just begin by giving us a little bit information about CJ Darcy, which is a joint venture between CJ of Korea and Darcy of India. 2017, the 2 entities came together, and now in India, so we have around 200 plus branches, network 2 million square feet warehousing, own fleet 850 plus vehicles, and 2,000 plus customers. We have independent verticals which include shipping, air, warehousing, apart from surface transport, which is the core business. From the container point of view, we see 3 important ports in Bangladesh, one being Chittagong, of course, Mongla, and Pangaon. So, which are represented on this slide. Now, just to repeat what Mr. Mehra was also saying, mentioning that in the present scenario, India-Bangladesh connectivity by water, so most of the MLOs especially are connected or use the transshipment ports of Colombo or Port Kelang or Singapore presently, even for connecting Kolkata with Chittagong. The average transit time, depending on the congestion at the or dwell time at the transshipment port, is around 15-20 days. And there is an uncertainty in the transit time due to the quite frequent congestions one experiences at Colombo. And thereafter at Chittagong port, which also has its challenges in terms of the congestion and the berth limitations. So how does CJ Darcy come into the picture? Darcy has been providing direct vessel connectivity between India to Chittagong from 2 ports primarily. These are Chennai and Kolkata, and these are primarily for the container vessels. The RSVs have been operating since 2017, so a good 5 years experience in the operations. So CJ Darcy was also part of the historic movement of in-transit cargo. I think Mr. Mehra also mentioned about that, which was going into northeast from Kolkata, going into Chittagong and then into northeast via Akhura border. So here, before I forget, there is one just thought to put in this thing, that perhaps Pangaon, if it is included for the port of transshipment, that will reduce the cost of this transshipment, which is currently through Chittagong. So maybe we can offline have a word on that. And Darcel has been also offering direct port connectivity between Kolkata port and Pangaon port. The Darcel has been using the dedicated coastal berth at Chittagong, which is obviously less congested than the regular berths, because the vessels used by CJ Darcel, they qualified under Indo-Bangladesh Coastal Treaty to be treated as coastal vessels. So, just a snapshot of the service, one from Chennai. It's a fortnightly service. The vessel is a 383 TU with approximately 5,000 tonner. The transit time is 3 days. And Kolkata Bangladesh service, which is the core strength and core product of Darcel, which is again fortnightly service. Sometimes the frequency gets disturbed, and the vessel capacity usually is around 170 to 200 TUs and 3,000 tons approximately the dead weight. Transit time again 2 days, and also inducement calls at Haldia whenever required. So in addition to the container vessels, which have been a forte, CJ Darcel has also been running barges under the coastal movement between Kolkata and Bangladesh. The benefits to the trade from the CJ Darcel operated services. The direct service is, of course, much more reliable product than a transshipment service via any third country ports in terms of overall transit time. Being a direct service, it is cost effective. Then the Darcel has expertise in both container as well as breakable cargo, and offer the door-to-door service as well. There are different sizes of vessels which CJ Darcel operates as per the POD requirement. So, for example, the vessel requirement for Chittagong size is different, for Pangaon is different, Mongla is different. Incidentally, CJ Darcel operated a container service to Mongla in the last year from Kolkata. Now, because these are 2-point service vessels, so the trade, especially the shipping lines and MLOs, they have the facility of getting empty containers back from Bangladesh on the return voyage or the return cargo. Then the opportunity of connecting some of the far hinterland cargo. For example, CJ Darcel had connected cargo coming from as far as Nagpur to Chittagong, and even North India, which has a very significant cargo base of, say, for example, the items like yarn and auto parts going into Bangladesh presently and conventionally using the west coast of India. So that is about the presentation. Thank you very much, and I'm open to the questions.
Now, I don't know whether Mr. Joel is joining virtually. Has he joined? Now, may I request Mr. Joel to give his presentation? I think it can be made a little bit clearer. We are awaiting to hear from you. Mr. Joel, can you hear us?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. So you may give your presentation, and in fact, Mr. Joel is also one of the operators in this coastal service between India and Bangladesh, offering a regular service from Pangaon to Kolkata, and we want to hear from you about your experience and the importance of this trade and how you want to go further. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. I'm sorry, I'm suffering some short throating problem, so I cannot speak so loudly. You guys hear me?
So we can hear
Hello?
you. We can hear you.
Yeah, okay, okay. I represent Sea Glory Shipping. We started our business in the year of 1993. So, beginning, we went so many analysts in Bangladesh, and we are also the agent for the TKM container line since long. So we started our coastal shipping service since 4 years back, and we are sending one vessel, it's MV Mokolan to this 140 TEUs capacity from Chittagong to Calcutta and Calcutta to Chittagong. And besides that, we are operating 8 container vessels from Chittagong to Pangao. At this moment, we are the largest operator for Indian services from as the operator, Bangladesh operator, we are basically facing some problem to getting the permission from Indian side that we actually talked several times the Indian DG shipping and our partner DG shipping as well because automakers this is actually not equivalent for the RVS themselves. So actually, that is the reason sometimes we are not feeling so much interested to send our vessel to Calcutta because we are really wasting our time sometimes to get the permission from the Indian DG shipping. So I request to Indian DG shipping to consider it and to give us a very what is it? Give us a very prompt permission to deploy our vessel to Chittagong, Calcutta for the first service. And as I said, it is a very potential market for both of us, especially from Chittagong, Calcutta and Calcutta, Chittagong. It is a very huge movement, as I said, and there is a lot of cargo movement, the seven sister of the Indian other side, through transshipment via Chittagong or transshipment via the Pangao. So if we can highlight this factor, I think this sector is booming. That's all, and thank you very much. This is my short introductory.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jewel. Now we have all the panelists that they have given their views. I open the floor for any question. It may be asked to Mr. Mehra or Mr. Dhawan. Mike, please. Please introduce yourself and then ask.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm Vijay Sinha. We talked about the importance of IBP route for the movement of cargo from India to northeast through Bangladesh. So that is good, and we talked about the movement of the bulk cargo. But I understand there is no port identified in Bangladesh for the movement of the containerized cargo as a transshipment point for onward journey to northeast sector. So is there any plan for that? Because there can be a lot of cargo in the containerized mode which can move through this route to northeast sector from Kolkata.
Hello. Yeah, so already container movement has taken place using the Chittagong port. It has already taken place.
Yeah, but Chittagong port will be a bit far and not that cost effective. If Pangao or any other port can come up, that would be better.
Yeah, we agree. Pangao we also feel because it is Dhaka primarily, Narayanganj, yeah. But it needs to be taken at the G2G level to get that. So valid point.
Thank you.
Anyone having any question? well, is- Captain Majumdar.
Understand there are a lot of procedural difficulties the power operators are facing from Calcutta, mainly the customs, etc. Could you just list out what are these procedures? I remember I've been attending a lot of these inland waterways, and the power operators say there are plenty of hurdles which needs to be sorted out to reduce the costs. What are these hurdles? Is it procedure? Is it customs? This side, that side? What is it?
Mr. Mehra, maybe you'll address this?
This I have already stated, one two movement that we have started, both side, both at Hemnagar, Indian customs side, land customs side, and at Bardurabad also. The 1 to 2 days detention is taking place, I have already told, because this is finally coming down to cost. So talks are on with the customs, especially Calcutta customs, to sort out these issues so that it can be faster. So that much at the moment I can tell. But it is true that almost 2 days' time is getting lost in the process.
Apart from that, we have actually we got a complaint in our chamber and we took it up with the DG shipping eventually, that when a barge operator sends containers, there are a lot of restrictions imposed by BIWTA. And the subject was taken up by our Bengal chamber, and of course the problem was sorted out. Now, at this point of time, that movement utilizing the riverways has been stopped, primarily because of that BIWTA insists that stability booklet needs to be taken into account. Of course, stability is a very important factor, but in the riverine routes, some kind of relaxation needs to be given. Otherwise, the trade will not develop. Now, coming back to the question of...
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Sai. I'm from Steel Authority of India. Are there any plans to cover even Myanmar with these barges, sir? Or do we have to go for the multimodal transport from Bangladesh again to India and again then to Myanmar in the future?
Mr. Mehra.
Myanmar, at the moment, it is not the barges but the seagoing vessels being considered, and Government of India has already developed one port at Sitwe to connect to Mizoram. But so far through barges movement, I have got no idea whether that has been still allowed. But as per my knowledge, movement of barges, smaller barges are not yet allowed in this route.
So, any more question? Okay, if there is no question, then thank you very much, Mr. Mehra, Mr. Dhawan, Mr. Jewel. And with this, we conclude this technical session number 2. Now we have the present task of giving mementos. May I
Absolutely.
request Chamber Secretary?
I would request Mr. Taposh Banerjee to hand over a token of memento to Mr. Dhawan. A round of applause, please, everybody. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. With this, we conclude the second session.